Don't be acting like I just be out here just not
No.
That's
not what I'm saying. You're just gone a lot.
First of all, I went to get my hair twisted.
It looks great, by the way.
I went to lunch with my mentor. I went to Chipotle. Then I went to Dairy Queen.
That's a lot of places.
And I called you. You don't piss me off right now.
I'm so sorry. I don't want to piss you off.
Don't allow me getting home late one night to be
I just feel like the desire and crave. I don't know. Like, you're just really distant. Like, you're...
For you.
But I'm just trying to say...
For you.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Roxy with Roxy Says, and we're gonna talk about it. If this is your first time here, welcome. And if you are returning, welcome back. Y'all, we are almost at 20,000 subscribers. Thank you all so much. Today we are reviewing Love is Blind Season 6, Episode 10. This episode stressed me out. I had to pause multiple times. So let's get right into it. But before we do, please don't forget to hit like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell so that you are made aware every time I post a new video. All right, y'all, so let's get into it. So I did see a couple of comments in the previous video stating that what gave Jeremy away was his Apple Watch, and that made me think of a Reddit post that I saw, okay? So in this Reddit post, this woman described how she found out that her husband was cheating. So both her and her husband would share their workout status and progress on their watch. It makes for like friendly competition, an accountability partner, all that good stuff, right? So one weekend when her husband was out of town, she got a notification at about 3 in the morning that her husband had just finished a workout. And it showed his heart rate, it showed the length of time, all that, okay? So yeah, these Apple Watches will get you every time. But yeah, I just had to tell that story because that situation with Jeremy made me think of that Reddit post. Okay, anyway, so as this episode opens up, we see Jeremy, he's having a conversation with his mom and he's telling her about what happened between him and Laura. And as he recalls the story, a couple of details change. He says that he told Laura exactly what happened. That is not true. We saw in the last scene, you lied and you only came clean once she told you that she knew that you were lying. Like, okay, anyways. But he tells his mom that nothing inappropriate happened. They didn't do anything and it was late. Sarah was going to get an Uber. And he says, no, let me drive you home since it's only 8 minutes away. And all they did was talk for a few minutes and he didn't make it home until 5:30. And Jeremy's mom says, you lucky it wasn't me because I'd be sitting in the living room waiting on you. Okay. I'm like, period, mama. Period. Jeremy claims that it was a very constructive conversation. Jeremy, shut up. Just shut up. If it was so innocent and so constructive, why didn't you just tell Laura in the moment? Why did you have to lie about it? Mr. Transparency. But he claims that he didn't think that he would lose his fiance. That wasn't part of the plan. And I'm like, yeah, and I don't think that it was part of Laura's plan to be engaged with someone who stays out with his ex until 4 a.m. and then lies about it. Yeah, I don't think that was part of her plan either. Next, we see Chelsea. She's meeting Jimmy's family. The family is very friendly. And from the way that Jimmy's mom was acting, I was like, I know that Jimmy is the baby. And that was later confirmed. So Jimmy's sister brings up that marriage is very hard and asks Chelsea, how does she know that they're ready? And you know, Jimmy and Chelsea, when they're in front of people, they're going to tap into that everything's perfect mode. They're going to do that little dance. They're going to do that little dance. And they were talking about how they communicate so well and how they handle conflict so well and that there hasn't really been anything that they haven't been on the same page about. Really? These two really know how to put on in front of people. And when I tell you that I would not be surprised if they make it all the way to the altar and they say yes, I wouldn't be surprised. Not one bit. Now, I don't know if it was edited out of this conversation, but we did not see Chelsea tell Jimmy's family that she was divorced the way that she told his friends, okay? I just thought that was really interesting. We find out that Jimmy's parents have been married for 43 years, and they definitely made me smile because they still make each other laugh. They crack jokes with each other. They were really cute. Ultimately, the meeting goes great. Mom says that she can definitely see that Chelsea and Jimmy love each other and they have her blessing. Next, we see Adie and her mom, Jacqueline. Adie is telling her mom how cute Clay is and he's a looker. I'm like, okay, girl, what else? Because she's gonna say that multiple times in this conversation, but I digress. Adie says that she hasn't seen Clay since the day before and she did a little DIY thing for him where she made a cute list for him and put his favorite snacks in it and she put it on the counter and it's still on the counter.
Really? What's up, baby?
You look good.
Look at you with this boy.
You
Okay.
look good.
How you doing?
So when Clay arrives, we learned that in addition to tech sales, he also rents out Airbnbs and jet skis. I like that, Clay. Clay's gonna get his money, all right? Clay tells AD's mom that he's always wanted to be married and he wants his wife to be adaptable and to also be his best friend, and he will be loyal to her. Clay starts quoting the Bible and he says that he believes that it's fate that he ended up here in this experience with AD. Child, AD's mom was so happy when Clay said that Bible verse. Now, girl, don't you get it twisted. I know a lot of people who could quote the Bible and... Okay. Clay brings up that his parents are divorced and how it's affected him in his adult life and that he hasn't gotten therapy for it. Here's the thing with Clay, okay? He's fully aware that because of his parents' situation, primarily what his dad did, that he has some issues when coming to staying faithful in a relationship. He has a lot of fear surrounding that. And that's just what he's telling us. I'm sure that Clay has a lot of other things that he needs to deal with, right? And he knows that he needs therapy. So if you know this, Clay, why come on this show where the goal is to do the very thing that it seems like you are the most unsure about? Why not go to therapy first so that you can work on yourself? And then when you do an experience like this, you are more prepared to love the other person correctly. But I love what AD's mom said in this scene. Oh, I loved it. She says, your parents' stuff is not your stuff. Yeah, it can affect you, but it's in your hands to decide what you want to do with your life. Don't self-sabotage, because now you have the opportunity to do whatever you think that your parents could have done better. Clay keeps falling into this, oh, my father cheated. Oh, my father cheated. Oh, I never seen this. But you know what not to do. And like I said in previous reviews, it seems like with Clay constantly mentioning his father, and he's also going to mention it later in this episode, all he's doing is prepping AD for when he does cheat on her. And then he's going to say, well, you know, my daddy did it. I've been telling you my daddy did it. What did you expect? That is what it seems like he's preparing AD for. Clay, you can't blame your daddy and P. Diddy and Will Smith the rest of your life. You have to write your own story. And of course, that will take a lot of unpacking, but that is why Clay really, really needs to sit with someone to get to the bottom of why he fears that he won't be faithful. And I do love AD's mom, but I got a little irritated with her because when Clay got her from the table and they were having that heart-to-heart and AD started crying, she told AD that this relationship is worth fighting for, right? Stick by him and fight through it. And I'm like, girl, y'all don't even know this man really. Like, why set your daughter up to be fighting for her life in this relationship with a man who she barely knows, and with a man who at every chance he gets tells her that he's afraid that he's gonna cheat on her? Child, if I was AD moms, I'd be like, he ain't it. He ain't it, baby. Yeah, he's cute, okay? He's cute, he got a little business, but he ain't it. But with that being said, AD's mom was the sweetest. That is a mother who will build you up, speak life into you, and make you feel like you are ready to get up, go out, and conquer the entire world. I love that for AD. And with how much AD talks about Clay's looks, I'm fully convinced that if AD did not find Clay as attractive as she does, she would have been gone a long time ago. But because she thinks he's so fine, you know what she's doing? She's in the field. One red flag here, one red flag. Like she's in the field. She's picking up the red flags, okay? So child, the weddings are in 13 days. We see Johnny and Amy and they're still all in love. Johnny is meeting Amy's dad, David, and I totally understand Amy for being nervous. That's how I would be with my dad. I love my dad and I really value his opinion, and he gonna give it. He gonna give it, okay? Johnny starts telling Amy's dad all about himself, all of his financial and early retirement goals, and how close he is with his family. And Amy's dad starts singing her praises. When I tell you, this scene had me tearing up. That man loves his daughter. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, that man loves his daughter. And clearly you see that he just wants nothing but the best for her. And all he wants is to know that when he leaves this earth, Amy is in good hands with the man who she decides to marry. So Johnny asks David for his blessing and David grants it. I can't get over how cute this scene was. I loved it. Child, next we see Jimmy and Chelsea. And the way this scene gave me a headache, confused me, took me on a roller coaster. I was getting whiplash. Like, is she mad about this? Is she mad? What? Okay, let's get into it, all right? So as this scene opens up, we see Jimmy and he's telling Chelsea how happy he is that the meeting with his family went so well and he loves her even more now. And I'm like, oh, how cute. It looks like, they're getting to the flow of things. And I was wrong because immediately Chelsea starts talking about being cranky with Jimmy. Oh, I'm cranky with you. Okay. Let me go in order before I get ahead of myself. So Chelsea starts telling Jimmy that she was cranky with him because when the camera crew left the other night, he showered and he went out with friends. And Jimmy claims that he asked her if she wanted to come. She says, no, you didn't ask me. Let me tell you something about this couple. These two need to keep recorders on them at all times because the way that they remember conversations it's always something different. Remember the conversation where she was like, oh, you didn't kiss me at all today. And he was like, well, I kissed you 3 times today. And then the beach night when she was like, oh, you spun AD around. And he was like, I didn't spin AD around. They need a camera crew just for their relationship. Forget Love is Blind. They need their own camera crew to follow and record them 24/7 because they are never on the same page about what did or didn't happen, ever. Get them a camera crew. Jimmy claims that he knew that Chelsea didn't want to go, but he did ask. And at this point, I don't know who to believe because like I said, they're always saying something different happened. But the way that he said that gave me the impression that he gave her one of those asks like, hey, you want to go? But he really didn't want her to go. That's the impression that I got from the way he said that. Oh, you didn't even want to go. Like, okay, no, you didn't want me to go. So then Chelsea tells Jimmy that a woman from the pods named Mackenzie sent her a text and was like, girl, your man is here. Why you not here? And Chelsea says that she doesn't want to be with a man who goes out to the bars every weekend. Jimmy says that in the pods, he told her that he likes to go out. Chelsea says, no, you said in the pods that you're not into going out. You said that that's not your thing. You lied to me. Again, I need to see that conversation for myself because did Jimmy really say that he just doesn't go out? Did Jimmy really say that? Or did Jimmy say that he doesn't really like to go out, but he does on occasion? Like, I can't, you get what I'm saying? Like, I can't believe what either of them say. They remember things differently. Then Chelsea starts crying and she says that it's so embarrassing for someone to message her saying that her man is out. And I'm like, Chelsea, girl, what's embarrassing about that? You knew where he was. Y'all aren't going to be together 24/7. He's allowed to leave the house, sis. I could understand if Mackenzie called you and was like, girl, I see Jimmy. He's all up in another woman's face. Girl, I see Jimmy. He's on the dance floor grinding on somebody's booty. Then I could understand why that would be embarrassing. But this, just someone calling you and telling you that he's outside. Hey, Chelsea, I'm just at the supermarket grabbing some groceries and I saw your boo, Jimmy. You saw Jimmy? Yeah, girl, I just saw him in the supermarket. He was just grabbing a loaf of bread. A loaf of bread? This is so embarrassing. And I fully understand a bar scene and a grocery store is different, but at this point in the conversation, I found it to be absolutely ridiculous. It's almost like Chelsea doesn't want him to leave the house. Then we hop from the issue being Chelsea not wanting to be with someone who goes out to another problem. Chelsea is mad that Jimmy was hanging out with his girlfriends. When we met those girls and Chelsea's like, oh, it's okay because I'm friends with my ex too. I knew that that was all talk. I knew that Chelsea had a big problem with Jimmy's friends being women. And Chelsea starts questioning Jimmy. She's like, who you be texting all the time? Where do you go when you go to work? And I'm like, work? But anyway, overall, she was saying that Jimmy spends too much time speaking with, texting with, hanging out with his female friends. Chelsea says that it's disrespectful. And Jimmy says, look, if you want me to take a step back, I'll take a step back. And you see what I mean when I say that Jimmy just says things because they sound good? Because when Chelsea takes him up on that offer and she says, yeah, actually, I do want you to take a step back, Jimmy says,
tell me right now, do you want me to take a step back?
Of course I do, and
okay,
I told you that.
I'm not willing to take a step back.
And then he walks away. But baby, it's not over just because you walk away. Do you know who you dealing with? This is Chelsea Megan Fox T-Rex, okay? It ain't over. So she follows him in the house, and that's where she really spills the beans. She was like, you fucked her. I know you fucked her.
I don't have a physical relationship with them. I want you to trust me.
You do though. You fucking do. You told me you fucked her. And the fact that you're saying you're unwilling, no, I don't give a fuck. I know you fucked her and you told me that.
Because I want you to trust me.
And I do trust you.
I told you off camera that like,
I know, but then
I don't want to talk about that.
I'm sorry.
So apparently one of the female friends that we saw in the last episode, he has slept with in the past. Now, Chelsea, I can only imagine that when Jimmy told you this, you were like, oh, it's fine. It's not a problem. It's okay. If that is a problem for you, that is something that you need to put on your grown woman voice and not, oh, it makes me feel sad. That is something that you need to clearly state. I am not comfortable with the amount of communication that you are having with this woman who you've slept with in the past. I'm not comfortable with it. And at the same time, I was thinking, I bet it's the friend that said he never turns down sex and that he's a crier. Did you cry in bed with your friend too, Jimmy? And then you brought the same friend to meet your fiance? Where did y'all find these people? But apparently Jimmy told Chelsea that off camera and she was not supposed to repeat it because he didn't want his friend to feel any type of way or be embarrassed. But Chelsea said, F that, I don't care. And this goes two ways. If Jimmy told Chelsea, look, this is my friend, we slept together in the past, but we're still cool. And Chelsea's like, oh, that's fine, that's fine. You can't turn around and get mad at him for hanging out with said friend. But on the other hand, Jimmy should have enough sense to know that he is now engaged and it is inappropriate to be constantly texting and hanging out with one of your friends who you slept with. But on the other hand, Chelsea said that she's still friends with her ex, who I'm sure she slept with. But either way, I need the both of them to stop acting like they're okay with things that they're clearly not okay with. But then we find out that that might not even be the real issue because Chelsea brings up something else. And at this point, I'm like, girl, you're just making stuff up. You're just making stuff up to see what hits, okay? Because then Chelsea says, okay, well, you were out with Jess. And at this point, Jimmy feels like Chelsea is fishing, and that's really what it seems like. Because first we were at, she's upset because he goes out and in the pods, he told her that he doesn't go out. Then she's upset because he's texting and hanging out with his friend who he slept with in the past. And now Jess was there too. Like, Jimmy claims that he wasn't hanging out with Jess. He tells Chelsea that she is tipsy right now. He says that he went out with a couple of frat brothers and their two girlfriends and that Jess was not there. And this scene was hella irritating because Chelsea kept saying over and over, this isn't the type of person that she wants to be with. Jimmy is full of shit. Jimmy doesn't love her. He doesn't care about her. Okay, get your ass up and leave, sis. And Jimmy says, well, if that's really how you feel, then I don't want to be with you either. And at this point, I feel like both Jimmy and Chelsea, they like it. They like this shit at this point because Jimmy, I don't know how you're still dealing with this. Chelsea, if you feel like he doesn't love you, if you feel like you can't trust him, whatever, leave. Both of y'all just leave, please, and leave us alone. And at the end of this scene, I almost stood up and gave Jimmy an applause because he said, you know what? This is not gonna work. And I was like, yes, thank you, Jimmy. At least someone put us out of our misery. But of course, right after he says that, Chelsea gets up and she goes over to him and she's like, oh, please don't leave, don't leave.
Please don't leave. Stop. Stop. We're talking.
You're overstepping boundaries.
You just listed all of the reasons why you don't want to be with him, but you talking about please don't leave? I am so sick of these two. I really am. I really am. So now we are 12 days away from the wedding. We see AD and Clay and they're doing some wedding planning and Clay is still talking about cheating. Do y'all talk about anything else? Do y'all speak about anything else? I know the show is edited, but clearly he brings it up a lot. Clay says that he's gonna try because he loves him and AD's sexual chemistry and their gossip, and AD has really been there for him. But then Clay also says, why do we need to get married by that specific date? And AD says that she understands and she will be fine with a yes or a no answer at the altar, but if the answer is no, she will not be able to date him after that. And I agree with that, but in all honesty, I actually wouldn't be upset at a couple who did this process, fell in love, and mutually decided that they just needed a little bit more time to work out, the extra kinks. I totally understand that too, because this is a very, very short experience. But of course, that would have to be a mutual and genuine agreement with a goal of marriage at the end, and not just like some sort of stalling tactic. But the conversation ends on a good note. They're hugging, they're kissing. I just think that Clay is telling AD in so many ways that he is not ready to get married and that if they do, he's gonna cheat on her. Next, we see Chelsea and Jimmy again. Child, every time these two are on my screen, I'm rolling my eyes. I really am because I'm so sick of them. Jimmy says that he doesn't trust Chelsea's judgment after the other night. He says that he feels betrayed, of course, because she told the world that he actually slept with one of those friends. Okay, she wasn't supposed to say that on camera. And he said that he thought about it and he decided that he doesn't want to get married. And Chelsea responds and she says, so you're saying no? And I'm like, okay, Jimmy, now's your time to bring it home. Bring it home. Give that concrete answer. No, I don't want to do this. This is not working for us. And get up and leave. But instead of that, what does Jimmy do? And he's like, well, you said you don't love me and I love you and I fight for you and I give you affection. I'm like, oh my God. These two, yes, the both of them are exhausting. And Chelsea's like, well, just for you to throw in the towel like that just because of a bad night. I'm like, girl, y'all have had all of the bad nights. All of the nights have been bad. All of the nights have been bad. It's not just one incident. Chelsea is blaming it on the alcohol. And she also said that she felt more love from Jimmy last night than she ever has. And I'm like, what? That is toxic as hell. And then she asks him, what can she do to make him change his mind to a yes? And I'm like, not Chelsea begging this man to marry her, child. He just tells Chelsea not to cross the road that she crossed last night. And she's like, yeah, well, the same for you. It was the both of us, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't just me. And he forgives her. He says that he's here for a wife. Child, let me tell you something. This scene was so annoying, okay? I feel like Chelsea loves to weaponize her tears. She was very manipulative. And at the same time, Jimmy encourages this shit by not just being honest. Yesterday, you said that y'all aren't gonna work. Today, you said that you decided that you are not marrying her. And by the end of this conversation, you're apologizing and y'all are making up. Child, anyway, so it's 10 days until the wedding. Everyone is meeting up at the lake. Laura tells the ladies what happened between her and Jeremy. Amy tells the ladies that Johnny filled her in on what happened because clearly Jeremy was calling and telling everybody what went on between him and Laura. Laura says that Sarah Ann is pretty much trash, not in those exact words, but you get what I'm saying, okay? But she says despite what Sarah Ann did, Jeremy is the one who holds the responsibility. Jeremy is the one who promised her love, loyalty, and protection, and he did not give her that. And here go Chelsea talking about, he ain't it, sis. Chelsea, shut up. How are you able to clearly see that Jeremy ain't it for Laura, but you can't see that Jimmy ain't it for you? Shut up. Child, so next we see Jeremy. He shows up in his Hawaiian shirt on purpose, and he says that him and Laura haven't seen each other in 4 days. He says that he tried to send her flowers, and all of her text responses to him have been nasty. So why would he try to fight for something like that? And he says that this experience has taught him so much about her, and she hasn't given him any reason to fight. Okay. Bye. Do you forget what caused this situation? So next we see Trevor show up, and child, when Trevor showed up, all of the ladies like, wait, hold up, that's Trevor? They was like, ooh, that's Trevor. Everyone. AD, Chelsea, Laura, everybody, they was like, ooh, that's Trevor. Okay, he look kind of fine. Chelsea says that Trevor is the type that she usually goes for. You know, he's big. They call him beefy. I had called him juicy, but he's definitely bigger in this scene than he was in the pods. He definitely beefed up for this barbecue, okay? Then we see Jess and Mackenzie come in. Jess was trying to give Jimmy a handshake, and Jimmy went in for a hug. And I'm like, Jimmy, why didn't you just shake her hand? Why did you hug her? I don't want to hear Chelsea's mouth about this too.
You hugged her. That makes me sad.
And Chelsea's with the other ladies talking about how she wants to throw up. Y'all know Chelsea always trying to throw up over everybody whenever she's uncomfortable. Then we see Laura and Jess, and they're giggling about Jimmy. And I'm like, hold on, Laura. Weren't you just upset about Sarah? And now you're laughing about Jess pretty much doing the same thing with Jimmy? So wouldn't that make Sarah and Jess the same? But because it's Jess, you find it funny. Anyways, Laura says that she's not wearing her ring anymore. She still has it. And if Jimmy was to ask her for the ring back, she would tell him to kick rocks. And I agree, okay? But anyways, was production being messy, or was Jimmy really looking at Jess like that? Like a little creep? And all of the other guys were looking at him, look at Jess and smiling and smirking. Like, was that production, or did that really go down like that? So we see Jess doing her best to get close to Jimmy, and Jimmy tells her that they need to have a conversation the same way that Jeremy felt like he needed to have a conversation with Sarah. And in Jimmy's confessional, he lets us know that he is very attracted to Jess. So they step aside for some privacy, and when they sit down, Jimmy tells Jess that his relationship with Chelsea has been a roller coaster and that they had a big fight. See how Jimmy do? When he's talking to other people, like their other friends and family, he has nothing but great things to say about Chelsea and about his relationship. But when he gets in front of the woman who he really wants and who he's regretting not choosing, he's telling her all the problems. He's telling her all the issues. Jess tells Jimmy to be good to Chelsea, and he tells her that she makes him nervous. They discuss what happened in the pods and what went wrong. And Jess starts getting teary-eyed, and she said that when she found out that Jimmy told Chelsea that he loves her, that was the most that she ever cried in her entire life. Really, Jess? You have discussed your troubling childhood and all of the hardships that you dealt with, and you're telling us that hearing that Jimmy told another girl that he loved her made you cry more than you've ever cried in your entire life? I'm sorry. I think Jess is putting on. I think Jess is acting. I think Jess is acting. I don't even think that she's attracted to Jimmy. Like, isn't she on another show? Isn't she doing like Perfect Match? Jess is acting. She's not. Jess ain't interested in Jimmy. But anyway, let me not break the fourth wall, okay? But Jess tells Jimmy that he never flat out told her how he felt about her. And he says that he feels that she's the smartest person that he's ever met, and whatever man ends up with her will be the luckiest man in the world. And he also tells her that he still cares about her and that she was still his number one, baby. So we already know how next episode is gonna start, right? Chelsea probably gonna be crying about that. I haven't seen episode 11 yet, but I will watch it right after I upload this video. This episode was stressful, okay? Stressful, but get in the comments and let me know all of your thoughts. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye!
For you.
Roxy says we